Good afternoon, YouTube. Shouldn't be making this video, really tired, can't think straight. Got a lot of things I'm trying to work out here. I posted some videos about the shooting in Plymouth that took place yesterday. Because as some people know, I moved to Plymouth immediately after the Brian Harvey Ben Fellows thing, where Ben Fellows had walked from Plymouth allegedly to Parliament Square to do something that might have got him shot dead, which was to run into the grounds of Parliament with a backpack on and a hat. Bill Maloney was trying to encourage him to run in there, put his tent up, get shot. Of course, there is the whole thing about my diagnosis of a psychopath. Am I a psychopath? Am I not a psychopath? Of course, we don't know. You know as much as I know, YouTube. All I can do is sit there and talk to people. They can diagnose me. I can ask them what the diagnosis means. For 8 years, they can refuse to answer that question. Send me to Plymouth to get harassed for 7 years, get made homeless. On bullshit grounds, really. Manufactured grounds. 7 years of harassment might make somebody flip out, mightn't it? People were looking for me to react to their abuse. People are trying to use me as a tool. I'm fairly sure of that. Anyway, look for some more information today. The shooter's been named as Jake Davison, who's 22, who shot himself at the scene. So we'll never know really what was going on with Jake. We'll get the state version of what was going on with Jake and what it was all about, but we probably won't get to hear from Jake himself, even though he made attempts to reach out to the public, talk about his experiences online, where he was at as a human being, mention of incels. In the online videos since removed by YouTube. Well, why have they done that? I'm sure everybody would like to know what he was saying, what his state of mind was. Had he tried to get help from the NHS for his issues and got nowhere? We don't know. Davison said he was socially isolated, struggled to meet women, and made references to Incels, the misogynistic online group of involuntary celibate men who blame women for their sexual failings and who have been linked to a number of violent acts around the world. Signing off on an 11-minute video, which appears to be the last he posted, Davison said, "I know it's a movie, but I like to think sometimes I'm the Terminator or something." Despite reaching almost total system failure, he keeps trying to accomplish his mission. Well, if they've removed these videos, how does the BBC know what he said when he signed off on his last 11-minute video? Trust none of what you hear and believe only half of what you see. Of course, I also did videos some time ago how the NHS mucked me around with this diagnosis of being a psychopath. Gaslighting is what the NHS did to me. The withholding of information is a gaslighting technique. One to show that you have some power and control over a human being, even over a simple basic question. To put that person through repeated complaints processes, never answering a simple basic question. Wearing that person out, frustrating them, making them feel small, insignificant, not even worthy of an answer to a worrying question. A question that the NHS has given you by putting labels on you. So I tried just to understand what was being said, because there are legal implications to this diagnosis as well. It turns out it took them 8 years, but then they turned around and said, we never believed you were a psychopath. So I'm like, oh right, they stopped their torture, their gaslighting, they're fucking me around. Perhaps they're ready to treat me like a patient should be treated. So I went back and I saw another consultant psychiatrist in Plymouth. A few months later, I had a very weird appointment with him. So weird that I made immediate complaints about it straight after the appointment. I made a complaint as I was walking out to the receptionist. I told her I would be making complaints. It was such a weird appointment. During the appointment, I told Dr. Pucks this, that I'd been abused by my mother in childhood. And his response to that was to ask me if I'd heard of an organisation called Mgtow, which I hadn't. So he explained Mgtow means men going their own way. I'm like, okay. He was recommending this as some sort of therapy that might help me. I'm like, okay, I'm always interested to try and lead a better life, be a better human being. So I checked it out, and a couple of minutes into the introductory video on Mgtow, it seemed to me that it was a purely misogynistic philosophy. And I don't hate women. I'm not sure how Dr. Puxtis thought this would help somebody who just told him that they'd been abused by their mother in childhood. Of course, your mother is where you get your immediate views and opinions about women from in early childhood. So why was he directing me to something where quite clearly it was a misogynistic philosophy encouraging hatred of women? They never answer my questions about that either, but this is the modus operandi, is they keep creating weird scenarios where you might make a complaint, you might have cause for concern, and when you raise issues that people should be interested in, I don't believe people should think these things are correct, what they've been doing here. You think they might take them seriously, but no, they just use it as another stick to beat you with. I'm very worried about this. There's more going on here than meets the eye. I do know that. Anyway, don't listen to me. I'm a paranoid, psychopathic conspiracy theorist who knows nothing, seen fuck all. Thanks for listening.